Have I almost died? Yes. Have I almost died 2 times? Yes. Have I almost died 4 times? Subjectively, yes. Ahoy, mateys! My name is Nautical Nathan, and welcome to our Saturday vlogs. Today I want to tell you about the times, I said times, yes, that I almost died. I'm starting to believe that I've been immortal, especially escaping death 4 times subjectively. And if I ever do die, I probably will deserve a Darwin Award. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It's actually pretty funny. Probably see some of the stupidest deaths you never thought you could see before. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you these in chronological order. I was a stupid kid. Intellectually? No, that's pretty smart there. Book smart? Yeah, sure. But as a kid, I ate dog food. If that doesn't say something to you, I don't know what does. So as a child, if I would find something, I was probably gonna eat it. For my parents, they had a very tough time. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for keeping me alive this long. Even on the bus, I would eat things off the floor. If it was good enough, I'd probably still do it now. I was about 4 years old the first time that I almost died, and although I just thank my mother for keeping me alive, at this point, I could almost say the exact opposite for almost letting me die. As I said, if I saw something, I would eat something, and I really wanted a hard candy when I was about 4 years old. I might have been younger, actually. So I saw hard candy, my mom was sitting in the living room, I knew she couldn't stop me, so I decided to put that candy in my mouth. Now, when they put choking hazards on candy, small items, it's probably for a good reason. In this case it was, because I choked on that hard candy. So I put the candy in my mouth, I decided to choke, and my brother, who's 3 years older than me, so he would have been 7 or younger at the time, decided, he sees, hey, my brother's choking, I like my brother, maybe I should save him. He had no prior knowledge of the Heimlich, but somehow he knew to do the Heimlich that day. So he's behind me, like pulling on me, and I'm sure that's exactly how it went that day. As my brother is trying to save my life, my mother sees him as hurting me. So she's sitting in the living room, she looks out, stop what you're doing! Quit it! So she's gonna, shakes her finger at us, and tells my brother to stop. So this is the reason I say that I could say the exact opposite of thank you for saving my life and keeping me alive all this time. So my brother successfully gets the Heimlich maneuver, I spit out the candy, and it was at that moment that my mother knew that something was not right. So she comes out and sees that, oh, my older son was not in fact hurting my youngest son, but saving his life. Thankfully, I didn't choke, and now I'm here to live to tell you about the story. I don't actually remember the story, that's just from what my older brother told me, because he remembers it. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate you saving my life. Let's move ahead a couple of years. So, preschool to kindergarten age, that's where we are now. I was still new to getting on the bus. We took the bus to school, and it took about 45 minutes to get to and from school either way. My family's motto is better late than never. So it kind of comes the same either when someone's picking you up or you're going to pick somebody up. This particular morning, I happened to be running late for school. I wanted to finish my breakfast, but I didn't have time. So the bus pulls in about 5 minutes earlier than it was supposed to anyway. We were all caught off guard. So I do have 2 older brothers. They ran out the door. They were ready to go. So I threw on my jacket because it was a little chilly that morning, and I grabbed my little backpack and I took off out the door. So at this time, I've got my line of sight directly on the bus that I'm trying to get to. Without knowing it, there was a truck coming down the road, and it decided that, oh, I can probably make it. The 2 kids got on the bus. That stop sign's just sitting there. What the heck am I doing? I'm not waiting for that. I get to the end of my driveway, and about 2 feet in front of me, boom, a truck goes right by my face. And for some odd reason, I decided to stop at that 2-foot mark, and I stopped. I will reference this by saying I did not look both ways. That's another reason to get yourself killed. Choking hazard, looked both ways. I'm like the poster child for not following the rules as a child. I'm alive. If I was a second or 2 earlier, I'd be roadkill. And then all the hillbillies in my town would decide to try to eat me. Way number 3 that I almost died. So I was almost shot by my father. Do you want context? Alright, here it is. So I come from a family of hunters, and this was about 7th grade, because that's about when the youth hunt starts. When you're old enough to start gun hunting, because you could bow hunt earlier at this point, but I didn't have a bow that either I liked or that was good enough to shoot deer with. So I waited till I was able to use a gun. About 6:30 in the morning on a November day. It's pretty chilly out, to be honest with you, and I'm climbing up into my stand. My dad's sitting there waiting, and I pull my gun up, no big deal. Get my gun, and I'm sitting in the tree, and I'm freezing my butt off already. So my dad takes off, he sees that I've gotten my stand, and he goes to his stand. So he goes off, and I actually have no idea where his stand was. He just walked off into the trees. He was far enough away so that way we couldn't see each other, so we would likely see different deer on different paths. I'm sitting there for about 5 or 10 minutes, and I just hear a shotgun sound just. And I'm like, did my dad shoot one already? Wow, like, this is gonna be a good day. And it wasn't 5 minutes later that I see my dad strolling back up, and I'm like, Are we done already? I'm cold. I'm good to go anytime. So my dad kind of whispers. He's like, "Are you okay?" But in a more manly tone, like, "Are you okay?" And I'm thinking, should I not be okay? But in a more childish voice, because I was a 7th grader, like,
should I not be okay?
So my dad's like, you're all good. Nothing happened, right? I'm like, well, yeah, like, what happened? And we have tree stands, so you have to hook your gun on a string and then pull it up. And even with safety, guns are never 100% guaranteed to not shoot you or just fire at any will. And this was one time that proves that point. So when my dad was pulling it up, the clip got locked onto the trigger. The safety was on, but the gun decided to fire anyway, so it kicks back and it aims directly at my stand, apparently. So when my dad saw it kick up, he thought that possibly it shot in my direction and or shot me. He just sprinted down and sprinted to my tree stand. And thankfully I was okay. So yeah, I almost apparently got shot by my father, not on purpose. So the 4th way that I almost died, and this is the one that I think is a little more subjective, and this one would have been more of the Darwin Award ones, where it was my fault for sure. My parents' house and where I went to college were about 3 hours apart, and in Michigan, especially in the winter, it snows quite often. You definitely get forewarning on when the snow's gonna start. I thought I was gonna be smart and hang out with my girlfriend at my parents' house a little later than I usually would, so it was about 11 when I left, and I'm like, all right, well, it's a normal drive. I'll get there 2 in the morning, no big deal, and I'll be able to go right to bed. Little to my knowledge, a snowstorm decided to roll in, and I'm like, I can manage it. It's big flakes, but it's not snowing hard. It's just big flakes, whatever, no big deal. So I continue on, and about half hour into my journey, I get to where I get to go on the highway. The snow was starting to build up at this point, and I'm like, well, I'm already a half hour in. Should I turn around? If you ever have to ask yourself, should I turn around? The answer is probably going to be yes. Turn around, especially when you're not even halfway there yet. So I said, I can press on, whatever, no big deal. I can manage it. I went for about another 2 hours and driving slow, driving 40 to 50 miles an hour the whole way on the highway, that is. That was about the most straight path that I could have gotten there anyway. And it was likely to be the most cleaned off because you want to make sure that the roads are clear for people that go to work in the morning. I had been following a man for about a half an hour. I was just tired of it. I was tired of sitting behind him. He was going about 15 miles less than he should have been, at least in my opinion. Hey, we're coming down a big hill, and I'm like, hey, this will be a good chance to pass. I'll pass him real easy, and then I can go on my merry way. There's nobody in front of him, so I know he's the slow guy. Now, the next lane was not nearly as cleared off as this one was, but it didn't look too bad. It looked like it was just packed down snow. In my mind, I'm thinking, this isn't bad at all. I can manage this, whatever. So I decided to pull out into that lane. The second I hit that snow, my car starts to drag. Actually, from your screen, I'm dragging like this. So I start to drag to the left. My right, your left, whatever. Either way, I'm going off the road, and at the edge of the road, it dips down a couple feet. So it's likely that my tire would hit and the car would likely be to roll, and that's where I think I actually would have died. As I'm skidding over to the side of the road, I remembered small movements, small brake movements, small movements on the wheel, small brake movements. You don't want to slam on your brakes, you don't want to slam on your gas. That's the worst thing you can do when you're driving. So I turn the wheel slightly and my car starts to go back, and I'm at the same speed. I'm right with this guy. But now instead of staying straight, my car decides to keep moving towards this guy. And I see him getting closer and closer and closer until I felt I was about less than a foot between me and this car next to me. And I said, oh crap, come on. And I have my foot neither on the gas nor the brake. I don't know if this guy was slowing down or if I just had that much momentum when I passed him. And so I just wait slowly. Thankfully, the people behind me let me back into my spot, and I just whoop, I get back in my spot, and I'm like, nope, I am good. I will wait here. I'll take the extra time, and I will just follow this guy. That is dandy for me. That's totally fine. So I rode slowly behind him the rest of the way to school, but thankfully I was okay. So yes, I have lived pretty much an idiotic life my whole life, but it's fun, right? And it makes for a great story to tell you guys. So I hope you guys like these stories. This was another fun one to tell you guys, and you get to know a little bit more about me and kind of how my life is. And if you guys have a near-death story, feel free to comment below. And if there are enough interesting stories, I might make a video out of it myself. That'd be great. And then, you get to be featured. If you're liking these stories, feel free to comment and let me know that. I really love to hear your feedback on it. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon to make sure you're getting all the updates from my channel. But thank you, everybody, so much for watching. If you like this video, I want you to jump on a boat and crash that boat right in the like button. And remember to always keep smiling. And I will see you in the next video. Have a great weekend. God bless. See ya!